Welcome back to the 23rd part of Debugging at Scale, where we put on the gloves and check the dump for clues on our system. In the previous video, I discussed Wireshark and said that capturing raw network traffic from interfaces requires elevated privileges on some operating systems. This caused security issues in the past and could be a serious risk. A more secure approach is using a tool like TCP dump to capture packets into a file. We can then open the file with Wireshark in user space with no special permissions. There are three cases where I might not want to use Wireshark directly to observe traffic. In a bank or government situation, a network sniffer might be a problem, but we might be able to ask an admin to run TCP dump for us in a specific area and port. If a cloud server is failing, using Wireshark remotely might be inconvenient. A customer might not be the most security conscious, but might not be okay with you taking over and running Wireshark. But running a command line tool to track execution might be a reasonable request and might work. In these scenarios, running a command line tool to just grab all the data and then working over it later would be more convenient. Luckily, this is pretty easy thanks to TCP dump, which lets you capture network connection traffic and save it to a file. We can then open this file in Wireshark and follow through. This is one line in the console. There are two things you need to pass as an argument. The network interface, which in my case is EN0, indicating my wireless connection. And the output file name. This can be any name. Once you do that, the process is running. You will get no indication. Do the things you'd like, captured, and then press Ctrl+C to stop the process. This was how I ran it on my machine. Notice the Ctrl+C where I chose to stop and the packet totals. Once you have the file, you can open it in Wireshark using File Open and use it as usual. One challenge you might face is knowing the interface you need to support. If you're running on a remote machine, you might not be familiar with the options. You can use the ifconfig command to list network interfaces on the machine. It's a bit much, but would at least narrow down the search area. Combining Wireshark and TCP dump solves the few remaining use cases and makes for a combination that's both relatively easy to use and powerful. I'm using the word relatively because it isn't a simple tool by any stretch of the imagination. Both of these tools have a great deal of power under the hood that I barely touched on, and that doesn't make for an easy tool. In the next video, we'll go into code. How can we write code in a defensive way so it will be easy to debug when it fails? We'll start with a discussion of logging. If you have any questions, please use the Slack channel to ask them. Thank you.